Like today I'll take session on percentage, right? So let's go further. Actually, today I'll be taking only a session on quant only, particularly on percentage. Like, okay, so just to give you an overview that what actually is percentage, I'll just tell you some concepts and then we'll do certain questions. Okay, so percentage. Percentage is nothing but divided by 100. This symbol, you must be aware of this symbol. This is divided by 100. That is per cent. Cents 100 means per 100, right? So 20% is nothing but 20 by 100. That is 1 by 5. Students, I'll take your queries in the end. Don't worry about it. Let me complete this and then I'll answer you all the queries. Okay? So 20% is 20 by 100. That is 1 by 5. Now percentages can be easily converted to equivalent fraction. Like 100%, you know, it is 1. Then further, if we divide 100% by 50%, see, 100% is 100 divided by 100, that is equal to 1. 50% is 100 divided by 2, that is 1 by 2. Further, 25% means half of 50% is 25%. So in the right hand side also we divided this half by 2, we'll get 1 by 4, right? 12.5, again we have divided this 25 by 2 and we have got 12.5%. So 12.5% is 1 by 8. 1 by 3 is 33.33%. Again divide 1 by 3 by 2, we'll get 1 by 6, that is 16.66%. And then again divided by 2, 1 by 12 we'll get, and this is equal to 8.33%. Student, I just want to tell you that these percentage values are very, very important. You have to mug it up so that these percentage values are so you will, while solving questions, you will tackle all these percentage values. So if you mug it up, then you don't need to calculate out the values of it, and you can easily solve questions, and that is going to save your time while taking your exam. So my suggestion is to mug up all these values so that you can save your time. 1 by 7 is 14.28%. And again further, if we divide 1 by 7 by 2, we'll get 1 by 14, that is 7.14%. And then 2 by 7 is 28.56%. I show you well, and then I'll tell you the concept behind it, right? So first of all, I want to tell you, student, 100%. Yes. Yes. I was telling that 100%, if you remove this symbol, this percentage means 1 by 100, right? So this will be 100 divided by 100, that is equal to 1. Okay. So if we divide this 100% by 2, we'll get 50%, right? That is, on the left hand side we are dividing it by 2, so on the right hand side also we'll divide it by 2, so we'll get 1 by 2. Again, half of 50% is 25%, correct? So that is half of 1 by 2, that is 1 by 4. Again, half of 25%, that is 12.5%, that is equal to 1 by 8, correct? Again, half of 12.5% is 6.25%, that is 1 by 16, correct? 1 by 3 is nothing but 33.33%, like what I have shown you in this PPT. See, I'm just telling that if suddenly 16.66% is given, so don't panic, just try to memorize like 33.3% is 1 by 3, correct? So if we divide it by 2, we'll get 16.66%. So 16.66% is nothing but 1 by 6, correct? And if 8.33%, which is again half of 16.66%, so we'll get 1 by 12. So inspired, like see here, 1 by 7 is 14.28%, correct? So if we divide it by 2, we'll get 1 by 14, 7.14%. Now instead of dividing it by 2, we can also multiply it by 2. So we'll get 2 by 7, that is 28.56%, right? Now we have, just see the relationship between 9 and 11, multiples of 9 and 11, they are interrelated. Like 1 by 9 is 11.11%, right? And 1 by 11 is 9.09%. So, digits are interchanged. So that will be easier for you to mug up this particular value because 9 and 11 are interrelated. Okay. So if 1 by 9 is 11.11%, so 2 by 9, that is, we are multiplying it by 2. So right hand side will also be multiplied by 2. So we will get 22.22%. So in this way, I'm just telling you, you try to mug up these percentage values by dividing by 2 and then by multiplying by 2. So you will get some another values, percentage values. So that will be easier for you, correct? 1 by 20 is 5%. So if you will ask 15%, so 15 is just 3 times of this 5%, correct? So you'll get 3 by 20, right? Okay, I just want to tell you that what is the need of the percentage? Why do we use it, right? So for this, I want to tell you, suppose I just want to give you an example, right? There are 2 persons, A and B, correct? Suppose A has got 45 marks and B has got suppose 80 marks, right? So if we compare their marks, so definitely B seems to have higher marks, 80. But if we see, but we don't know out of how much marks they have got. So if we consider that A has got this 45 marks out of 50 and B has got 80 out of 100. Now see this, the base is different. A has got 45 out of 50 and B has got 80 out of 100, correct? So here we can see that here the percentage is 90% and B has got 80%, correct? So from the percentage value we see that 90% is higher than 80%. Earlier when we were just comparing their numbers, marks, okay, so it it seems like B has got higher marks, but if we calculate percentage from their bases, so we have seen that A has got 90% and B has got 80%. That is, base is 100, correct? Base is 100 and this 100 has been used to compare. Okay, is my voice audible to you, students? Is there any problem? Okay, fine. So this 100 is the base. This has been used to compare the marks of A and B. From this we can say that A has got higher marks as compared to B because his percentage is higher than B's. Okay. Now suppose if we have some values like 30% is equivalent to some value, okay, and we have to calculate 100 percentage value. So suppose this is X. So our general approach is that what we do, we apply a unitary method like X by 30 into 100. So I'll suggest you that instead of using this unitary method, I'll suggest you first, what you do, you first divide it by 3. So you can easily get 10% value, okay, and then multiply it by 10. So you will get 100% value. So in this way, you can easily, sort out, you can easily do your calculation. You can simplify your calculation actually, right? instead of using this unitary method, what you did, you make 10% out of 30%, dividing it by 3, and then multiplying this 10% by 10. So you will get 100%. So that will be your answer. If 30% value of something is given, you have to calculate 100%. So in this way, that will be your approach. Correct. So suppose like 40% of some value is given. So, and you have to calculate 100% value. So what you will do, first of all, you make it 20% by dividing by 2. So right hand side, whatever digits are there, so suppose this is 60, right? So half of 40%, that is 20%. So we'll do half here also, that is 30. Now we have to make it 100%. So multiplied by 5, 25 is 100, right? So here also multiplied by 5, so that will be equal to 150. So 40% value, initial 40% was 60. So if I have to calculate 100% value, that is 150. Okay, so that will be my answer. So I just want to tell you, like, your approach should be like that. You don't need to apply unitary method. Just if higher values are given, I'm just telling you that simplify it, make it short, make it small values, and then you can easily calculate 100% value or whatever. And this small values, like I have told you, like you have to mug it up. If you know these values, so through these values, you can actually calculate the percentage value of higher values. Okay, that's my point. Now, see, every percentage is calculated on a base. If we know the base, then we can definitely calculate the percentage values, right? So like example, I'm just giving an example, 20% in a class are boys. Okay, now we know 20% is nothing but 20 by 100, that is 0.2, and number of boys cannot be in decimal. So we have to calculate 20% of the total number of students. But here we don't know the base. Actually, if I have been asked, suppose there are total number of students, there's this, and you have to calculate the number of boys, and we know that 20% are boys, right? So if we have to calculate the number of boys, then 20% of what? Of total number of students. For this, like I told you, base should be known, then only we can calculate the percentage value, correct? So here the base is total number of students, because if we know total number of students, then we can calculate total number of boys, which is 20% of total number of students. So I'm just telling you that if you if you have to calculate some percentage value, there should be some base should be there. Okay, so number of boys is equal to 20% of total students, correct? Now if you have to calculate percent of a number, like 20% of 600, so 20% is nothing but 1 by 5. So 1 by 5 of 600 is nothing but 120, correct? So in this way, if you know 20%, then you don't need to just simplify it like 20, then 100, then you cancel this 2 5 is a 10, then 1 by 5 of 600. Just mug up this value. 20% is nothing but 1 by 5, and 1 by 5 of 600 is 120. That's it. Correct? %30 of 1000, 30% is nothing but 3 by 10, and 3 by 10 of 1000 is 300. Correct? So my answer is 300. Now take this example. X income is 80% of Y's income, right? And Y's income is 50% of Z income. If Z income is 2 lakh, then what is X income? Now see students, the information which we have is Z income is 2 lakh, correct? So Y's income is 50% of Z income. 50% is half, correct? 1 by 2. So 50% of Z income. Z income is 2 lakh. So Y income is half of 2 lakh, that is 1 lakh. I'm just telling you first orally to understand the concept, and then we'll write it down to give you more clarity. Okay. So Z income is 2 lakh. Y's income is 50% of Z income. 50% is half. That is half of this 2 lakh. So Y's income will be 1 lakh. Now X income is 80% of Y income. 20%, 1 by 5. So 40% will be 4 times. Yes. So 4 by 5 of 1 lakh. That is 80,000. So X income will be 80,000, right? So now I'll show you like what I have done. Z income is this 2 lakh, and Y's income is half of this 2 lakh. So you will get 1 lakh, correct? So X income is 80%. 20%, 1 by 5. So 80% is 4 by 5, correct? So 4 by 5 of this Y's income, you will get 80,000, correct? So in this way, you approach to this question, right? Now conversion of a fraction or a decimal into a percent. Like how you change the fraction into a percent? You just multiply the fraction by 100. Like 1 by 5 it is given, the 1 by 5 into 100. If you do this, then you will get 20%, right? You have to just multiply it by 100. 1 by 8. So 1 by 8 is nothing but 12.5%. See students, I just want to show you one thing. Like I've told you earlier that 25%, 1 by 4. If you again divide it by 2, you will get 12.5%, that is 1 by 8. Now here if you know this value, you can easily write it down that 1 by 8 is nothing but 12.5%, correct? 1 by 10 is again 10%, and then 0.02, that is 2%, right? And 0.1 is nothing but 10%, correct? So you just multiply these values by 100, you will get your answer in percentage. Now converting a percentage into a fraction. I'm just telling you the basics so that it's for the beginners, so you can easily know how to do this, and then we'll solve some questions, okay, using this these percentage values and all. Now converting a percent into a fraction. 10% is nothing but 10 by 100, that is 1 by 10 you will get, right? 30% is 3 by 10. 40% is nothing but, as you know, 20% is 1 by 5, so 40% is 2 by 5, correct? Now if you have to calculate the fraction of a number, that is 1 by 5 of 100, that is 20%. This will be 1 by 5 of 100 will be 20%, because 1 by 5 of 100, so that is 20%, correct? 1/3 of 330. Okay, so 1/3 of 330 is 110. If you have to calculate fraction of a fraction and relative percentage, how you approach? Like first is 1 by 5 of 1 by 6. Of is multiply. So 1 by 5 into 1 by 6 is 1 by 30. Correct. Now second is 20% or 50%. 50% is half and 20% is 1 by 5. So 1 by 5 into 1 by 2 is 1 by 10. So my answer will be 1 by 10. Correct. Now coming to the question. This example says of the total amount received by Karan, 20% was spent on purchases and 5% of the remaining amount was spent on transportation. What was the initial amount if she is left with 1,520, right? So how you approach to this question? Just see. Total amount, if we generally consider total amount as 100%, correct? Now 20% was spent on purchases and 5% of the remaining amount was spent on transport. If 20% has been spent, so remaining will be 80%, right? And question is saying 5% of the remaining amount was spent on transportation. 5% has already spent, so now remaining will be 95% of 80%, because this 5% has been spent from 80%, right? So remaining will be 95% of this 80%, and that is actually equal to 1520, which is given because she is left with this amount. So question is asking initial amount, that is 100. So you need to calculate 100% value. Okay. So what you will do? 1520 divided by 95 into 80. This 100 into 100. So you will get 2000 rupees. Okay. So this will be our approach to solve this question. Now successive percentages. I just want to tell you one important point, like you will face so many questions, regarding successive percentage changes. Suppose first change is A% and second change is B%. So net percentage change will be A plus B plus A into B divided by 100. Okay. Or you can say 100 plus A divided by 100 into 100 plus B divided by 100. Right. So I'm just telling that suppose X is the amount and you have increased it by A%. And there has been a further increase of B%. So what will be my net change in it? Like this, you are going to face this type of questions. Okay, so I'll show you example. Like if the radius of a circle is increased by 50%, its area is increased by how much? Now you know that area of a circle is pi r square, correct? Pi is constant, so definitely that will be constant. There is no increase in it. R square is nothing but R into R. That is, there will be 2 time increments percent in this. So either do it in this way. Initially the radius is suppose R. Okay. So it is initially it is in 100%, right? And increment of 50%, that is 100% plus 50%. Correct. That is 150%. So, but there is an increment 2 times, right? So what you do, you will get 9 by 4. Now, initially it was 4 and then it became 9. So difference is 5. Correct. This difference is 5 and out of initial value 4 into 100. So you will get 125%. That is, this is the net change after increment, right? Either you do it one way, and the second method is you use this formula A plus B plus AB by 100, like 50 plus 50, then 50 into 50 divided by 100, right? So you will get 25 here. So total 125%. So this trick is going to help you while solving the successive percentage. So this is the net change. My area will increase by 125% if we increase the radius by 50%. Correct? Now, what percentage of, coming to the first question, what percentage of 60 is 37, right? So general conventional method is that what you do, 37 out of 60 into 100, and you calculate this calculation, you will get answer as 61.66%. But my suggestion is that you first check through options. Check option one by one to calculate, first see, if you see option A, 61.66%, so it is a complex one. So either some students will not be able to solve out, 61.66% of 60, that will be much tricky. So coming to the second option, 60%, 60% of 60, 20% will be 1 by 5 of 60, that is 12. And 60% of 60 will be 36, right? What we have to achieve is 37%, right? 37 is little higher than 37, 37 is little higher than 36, correct? So that means my percentage, it should be slightly higher than 60%, but not less than that. So C option is, we can exclude it. And 71.3%, that will be much higher than 37, so we can easily remove that option. So remaining option is A, 61.6%. So in this way also you can calculate your answer, right? I'll always suggest you to go through the options, check through options first, and then try to solve through the conventional area. No, option that, no. 6A will be the answer. 61.66% of 60, that will be equal to 37. Now, coming to the second question. Second question says, if 10% of A's income equal to 15% of B's income equal to 20% of C's income, if sum of their income is 7800, then B's income, what will be the B income? Now there are two methods to do it. Now see, 10% of A income is 15% of equal to 15% of B equal to 20% of C. Now what we do, take first of all LCM of all these three digits. 10 LCM of 10, 15, 20. The nearest multiple of all these three digits is 60. So you will do one thing. 10% of A, this is given, 15% of B equal to 20% of C. So if you divide this all these number by 60, you will get A by 4, A by 6, B by 4 here, and here C by 3. So the ratio of A is to B is to C, we will get 6:4:3. Okay, 6 like this. If you divide it by 60, you will get 6, 4, and 3. So ratio of A is to B is to C is 6:4:3. Now if we add them, that is 6 plus 4 plus 3, you will get 13. And 13 is equivalent to this 7800, correct? That is 600. So B's income, that is 4, because this is A, B, C ratio. B is 4. You have to calculate 4, the value of 4, that is 2400, right? So in this way you will get C answer. But the other method is that just try to think that 10% of A's income is 15% of B. All these three values are equal, so try to multiply these numbers by a value so that you will get equal value, so that you will get digit which is equal for all. That is, if we multiply it by 6 and we multiply this 15% by 4, and if we multiply by this by 3, so we will get 60, 60, 60. And it is also already given that this income are equal. So in this way also you will get ratio of A, B and C, 6:4:3, and then final approach is like that. 6 plus 4 plus 3, 13. And 13, you know, total of A, B and C is given 7800. Sum of their income is 7800. That's why we have, you know, written 13 equivalent to 7800. B's income is 4. So we have to find out the value of 4. So that will be equal to 24, and C will be my answer. Got it? Now coming to third question. C. If 28% of a number is 75 less than 43% of the same number, now what is 30% of that number? See, 28% of a number, we don't know the number, but that is less than 43% of the same number by 75. That is 43% minus 28. That will be equal to 15%. Correct? 15% will be equal to 75. Okay, 15% is 75, and we have to calculate 30%. That is twice of that. So twice of 75 will be 150, and 150 will be my answer. I show you how we'll write. 43%, 28% is less than 43% by 75. That is, you write like this. This is equal to 75, because 28% of a number, we don't need to write number again. We have just considered the base as 100. That's why we are just taking out the percentage values only, right? So 28% is less than 43% by 75, right? So 15% is equivalent to 75. Now we have to calculate 30% value. The conventional method says that you either do it in this way, 75 divided by 15, then multiplied by 30. But you don't need to do this. You just see 30% is twice of just 15%. So here also you multiply 75 by 2 and you will get 150 as your answer. So that will save your time. Okay. That's why I told you to mug up the value, so that if you know that how you approach this question, so that definitely that will save your time. Okay. So B will be my answer, 150. Next, question number 4. Question number 4 says, if A's income is 25% more than B's, then what is B's income as a percentage of A's income, right? So, suppose B's income is 100, correct? Now A's income is 25% more than B. That means B's income is, if B's income is 100, then 100 plus 25% of 100, correct? So we will get 125, because 25% of 100 is 1 by 4th of 100, that is 25, and 100 plus 25 is 125. So A income will be 125. Now what is B's income as a percentage of A's income? That is B's income is 100 divided by A's income is 125 into 100. So in this way you will get 80% as the answer. How? I show you how. Suppose B's income is 100, correct? Now A's income is 25% more. If it says 25% of B, then your answer will be 25 only, but 25% more than 100, correct? So you do it this way, 100 plus 25% of 100, correct? So you'll get 125, okay? Now B, what is B's income as a percentage of A's income? So you have to calculate percentage value, that is B's income is 100 divided by 125 into 100. So you will easily calculate this answer, you will get 80%, okay? Now, so my answer will be B. Next question says, if a number x is 10% less than another number y, and y is 10% more than 125, then x is equal to C. Question is saying, the data which we have now is 125 and y is 10% more than 125. That is 125 plus 10% of this 125. 10% of 125 is 12.5 and 125 plus 12.5 is 137.5. So y is 137.5, right? Then question says number x is 10% less than another number y. Y is 137.5 and x is 10% less than this. So 130, what we'll do, 137.5 minus 10% of this 137.5. 10% of this 137.5 is 13.75 and 137.5, then we'll subtract 137.5 and 13.75. So the answer will get 123.75. I show you how. See, y is 10% more than 125. So y will be 125 plus 10% of this 125. So you will get 137.5 because 10% of 125 is 12.5, and when you add 12.5 to this 125 you will get 137.5. Now x is 10% less than this y. So x will be 137.5 minus 10% of this 137.5, correct? So 10% of 137.5 is 13.75, and if you subtract this from 137.5 you will get 123.75. So D will be my answer. Now next question. If x% of A is the same as y% of B, then z% of B in terms of x, y, z and A is what? Now see, first try to see x% of A is the same as y% of B and we have to calculate z%. So remove this percentage. First of all, try to make an equation like x% of A. That is, if we remove 100, then AX will be equal to BY, right? We'll get equation AX is equal to BY, and we have to calculate z% of B. Z% of B, that is BZ. Now from here we can calculate the value of B as AX upon Y, and we multiply this by Z because we have to calculate this BZ. So you will get AX upon Y into Z, that is XZ upon Y percentage of A. So you will get B as answer. I show you how. This is now X%, remove this, X% of A. is y% of b, correct? If this percent value will cancel out, you will get ax is equal to by, correct? Now you have to calculate z% of b, z% of b. From here you will get b is equal to ax upon y, correct? So put here the value of b as ax upon y, you will get ax upon y z%, that is xz upon y percent of a. So my answer will be B. Don't need to, this I'm writing just to show you, to give you clarity, but try to do it orally, because if this is equal to this, so remove this percentage value, that will cancel out, so you will get ax equal to by. Now from here you can easily reduce the value of b as ax upon y, and then you have to calculate z% of b, that is you have to multiply this value of b with z. So in that way you will get the answer easily. You don't need to write down all this. Next question. A student multiplied a number by 3 by 5 instead of 5 by 3. What is percentage error in the calculation? See, generally what students do, that they first consider a number as x, and then they first what they do, they multiply 5 by 3 by x, and then this will be 3 by 5x, and they subtract it, whatever value they get, they divide this with the initial value, that is 5x by 3 and 100. So that is going to be tricky, right? So I just give you a short trick how you approach to this question. See, the number is multiplied by 3 by 5 and instead of 5 by 3. So number is 5 and 3 in the denominator. Take a number which is a multiple of 5 and 3 both. That is, nearest multiple will be 15. Correct? So my number here, if we multiply this number by 15, we'll get 9. And if we multiply this number by 15, so my number will be 25. Correct? So now see, number has to be multiplied by 25, but he multiplied by mistake, he multiplied it by 9. So difference will be 16, right? So percentage error is 16 out of 25 into 100, and 25% of this is 4, so 16 for the 64%. So you will get 64% as. You don't need to take x and do all this. Just see, take LCM of these two numbers, and then you can easily reduce your answer as 64. So D will be my answer, right? So try to use this short tricks. That is going to be of great help to you. Next question. See, in an examination, A got 10% marks less than B, and B got 25% marks more than C, and C got 20% marks less than D. If A got 360 marks out of 500, the percentage of marks obtained by D was. Now see, it is given that A has got 360 marks out of 500. So, okay, I tell you, you have doubts, so I show you how. In this question, see, what we have done, we took multiple of 5 and 3 as 15, right? So what we did, I'll show you step by step. 3 by 5 and 5 by 3. If we take multiple LCM of this 5 and 3, that is 15. Now multiply this 15 and this number by 15, so you will get 9 and 25. Now question is asking percentage error, means the difference, because you have to, earlier you have to multiply it by 25, but by mistake you multiplied by 9, right? So difference, the difference of 16 you have created, correct, out of total initial value. So for calculating the percentage, you have to multiply it by 100, okay? So in this way you will get 64%. Next, in this question, it is given that A got 360 marks out of 500. Suppose you have to calculate percentage of marks obtained by D. Suppose D has got 100 marks. Let's do it orally first. Okay. Suppose marks obtained by D was 100. Now it is given that C got 20% marks less than D. That means 20% of 100 and we subtract it by 100. That is 80. C has got 20% marks less than D. That is 80. C has got 80 marks. Now B got 25% marks more than C. That is 80 plus 25% of that 80. So we'll get 100. B had got 100 marks. A got 10% marks less than B. B had got 100 marks. A got 10% marks less. That means A has got 90% marks. Now this 90, it is equivalent to 360 because it is given that A has got 360 marks. So what you can do, 90 equivalent to 360. You will get 4 times, and initially the marks of D was 100. So D's marks will be 400. So if you know have to calculate the percentage value, that will be 400 out of 500. So if you do this calculation, you will get 80%. Okay, so in this way, you can do it orally. First, see, students, I have supposed that D marks was 100, correct? So C has got 20% marks less than D. That is, C is 100 minus 20% of 100. That will be 20. So that is, C has got 80 marks. Correct. B got 25% marks more than C. That is 25% of 80 and then added to 80. So you will get 80 plus 25% of 80. That is 100. Correct. A got 10% marks less than B. A got 10% marks less than B. That is 90. You can directly write it down. So A got 360 marks. So this 90 is actually equivalent to 360. Correct. So this is a multiple of 4. 360 is a multiple of 4. So that is equivalent to 4. So these marks are 100. Okay, these marks is 100. So 100 value will be 400. Correct. So percentage will be 400 out of 500 into 100. That is equal to 80%. That much. I'm just writing it down to show you clarity. But if you mug up these values, that what is 20%, what is 25%, so you don't need to write down all these values. You can do it in your mind, remembering these values, and you can save your time. Okay. Like these 100, C is 20% marks less, that is 80. B got 25% more marks, that is again 100, and A got 10% 10% marks less than B, that is 90. And 90 is equivalent to 360, so 1 is equivalent to 4, and these marks are 100, so these marks will be 400. And for percentage value, that will be 400 divided by 500 into 100. So that will you will get 80%, B as your answer. Okay. See, next question. The ratio of the number of boys and girls in a school is 2:3. Correct? If 25% of the boys and 30% of the girls are scholarship holders, the percentage of the school students who are not scholarship holders is, you have to calculate the percentage of the school students who are not scholarship holders. See, students, 2:3 is given. Now the conventional way is 3 plus 2 total students. If you suppose there are total 500 students, because it is a 3 plus 2 is 5. So try to take out the value of the total of the students as a multiple of 5. So now suppose total students are 500. Correct. If 25% of the boys and 30% of the girls are scholarship holders, that is 25%. So boys and girls are in the ratio of 2:3. That is, boys are 200 and girls are 300. Correct. 25% of the boys are scholarship holders. That is 1/4 of this 200. That is 50. But we have to calculate the percentage who are not scholarship holders. That is 75%. That is boys who are not scholarship holders. That will be 150. And 30% of the girls are scholarship holders. That is 3 by 10 of this. That is 90. 90 girls are scholarship holders. So remaining 210 girls will be non-scholarship holders. Correct. So total you will get 360. Right. Total students 360 are there who are not a scholarship holder. But you have to calculate the percentage. So total students are 500 into 100. You will get 72%. Okay. So in this way, you don't need to find out first 25% and then 30% of the scholarship, because here it is mentioning you have to calculate only not scholarship holders. So you just calculate 75% of the boys and then 70% of the girls. So you can directly calculate out the percentage, the school students who are not scholarship holders. I provide you the short trick. Like suppose there are 100 students, correct? Total 100 students are there. So if the ratio of the boys and girls is 2:3, correct? So in this way, boys will be equal to total students is 100, right? So total boys will be 40 and girls will be 60. Now it says 25% of the boys are scholarship holders, correct? 25% is 1/4 of this. Okay, so 12 boys will be scholarship holders. That means my remaining out of this total boys are 40, correct? 25% of the boys are scholarship holders. That is 10. So remaining boys will be non-scholarship holders. And here see, 30% of the girls are scholarship holders. That is 30% of this, correct? That is 18. So remaining students will be, that will be 42 girls, correct? So in total you will get 72%. So in this way also you can do. That is going to save your time. You don't need to calculate the percentage values again because here the base itself is 100, correct? So in this way you can calculate your answer. Next, see question number 10. A student requires 45% marks to pass an examination, right? If he got 138 marks and failed by 15%, then what were the total marks of the students? See, here it is mentioned that he requires 45% marks to pass an examination and he got 138, but still he failed by 15%. That is 45%, that is equivalent to 138 plus 15, because if we add this 15% to 138, then that will be equal to passing percentage, and passing percentage is 45%, right? So this, if you take this 15% this side, you will get 15% equivalent to, sorry, 30% equivalent to 138. Now see, you have to calculate the total marks. That is, initial total marks is 100%. So generally students, what they do, they do like this: 138, then 30 upon 30, then multiplied by 100. My suggestion is, first simplify it. First make it 10%, right? Now this number is divisible by 3. Okay, so you'll get 46, correct? Then you have to get 100% value, so multiply it by 10. So you will get 460 as your answer, correct? So that will save your time. So in this way you approach to this question. I hope you have got, you have got understanding. So in this way you can solve it out, right? Because here 45% is a passing percentage and he got only 138 and still he failed by 15%. So if you add this 15% to this 138, so that will be equivalent to your passing percentage. So 45%, that will be equal to 138 plus 15%, right? And you take this percentage values to one side and numeric values to this side. So you will get 30% equivalent to 138, and then you can, total marks were 100%, so you can easily calculate 100% value in this way. Try to first reduce it to 10%, You can easily find out 10% value, okay, and then multiply it by 10 so that you will get 100% value as 460, correct? Yes. If the numerator of next question is, if the numerator of a fraction is increased by 25% and the denominator is decreased by 20%, the fraction becomes is 5 by 4. What was the original fraction? See, the conventional method is that numerator of a fraction is this. Suppose the number is like this. So numerator is increased by 25%. So number x is itself is 100%. If we add further 25% to it, so we will get 125, correct? And denominator is decreased by 20%. That is, it becomes 80, and that is equal to 5 by 4. If you cancel out, you will get 4 by 5. That's it only. So my original fraction was 4 by 5. Another way is, check it out through options. See, 3 by 5. The numerator is increased by 25% and then decreased by 20% and then fraction becomes 5 by 4. That means my in my original fraction, the numerator definitely it used to be less than 5 because earlier it was less than 5 and then it has been increased by 25%, then it became 5, correct? So इससे ये पता चल रहा है कि initial it was less than 5 and the denominator was greater than this, okay? Because after decreasing it by 20%, it became 4, correct? So here see, if you calculate 25% of this numerator 3, that will be, you cannot calculate 25% of this 3. So leave it out this option, check this option 4. 25%, if you calculate 25% of this 4, that will be equal to 1. So 4 plus 1 will 5. You will get 5 as numerator. And if you decrease this 5 by 20%, so 20% of that 5 will be 1 and 5 minus 1 equal to 4. So you can easily calculate the fraction becomes 5 by 4. After, doing these changes in this value, you will get fraction 5 by 4. So in this way also, you can go through, by checking these options. So my answer will be B. Okay. This method is also very, short. So you do either in this way or in that way. Now see next question. Gaurav spends 45% of the amount he received from his father on hostel expenses, 20% on books and stationery, and 50% of the remaining on transport. He saves rupees 450, which is half the remaining amount after spending on hostel expenses, books, etc. and transport. How much money did he get from his father? See, suppose initial amount was 100%, correct? See, Gaurav spends only 40% of the amount he received from his father on hostel expenses and 20% on books. So he spent 40% and 20% on these items, and so in total he spent 60% of this amount, correct? 60% he spent, so rest will be 40%, right? Now the question says 50% of the remaining, 50% of this remaining he spends on transport. So already 50% has been spent, correct? So remaining will be 50% of this 40%. 50%, that means half of this 40%, correct? That is 20% is remaining only. Now the question says he saves rupees 450, which is half the remaining amount. Half the remaining amount, that is, this is my remaining amount and half of this remaining amount will be 10%, correct? So he saves 450. So that means this 10% is equivalent to 450, right? So you have to calculate the initial amount, what he get from his father. So for 100% value multiplied by 100, so you will get 4500 as your answer. Yes. So in this way, you can approach to this question. You don't need to, take x as the value and then calculate 40% and then 20% and then subtract it and then again 50%. You simply approach this question in this way. This is 100%, already 60% has been spent, 40% remaining Then 50% has been spent on transport, then remaining is 20%. But 450, he says 450, which is half the remaining amount after spending on hostel expenses and books. That is half of 20%, 10%, which is equivalent to 450. Now you have to calculate 100% value. So multiply uh, from this step to this step, you multiply it by 10. So multiply this 450 by 10, you will get 4500 as answer. Correct? If you have any doubt, then I can clear you once again. Please tell me if you have any doubt in this question. Okay, I assume that it is clear to you. See, next question. The population of a village was 9600. In a year, with the increase in population of males by 8% and that of females by 5%, the population of the village became 10,272. What was the number of males in the village before increase? See, initial population was 9600. Now there has been increase in the population of males by 8% and that of females by 5%. And then after increment, it becomes this. So initially, what was the number of males before increase? The conventional method is that generally what students do, that males plus females is equal to 9600. It is given. Now males has been increased by 8%. That is 108. Correct. 108% of males plus females has been increased by 5%. That is 105%, and that is equivalent to new value is 10272. Okay. So solving these two questions is that is going to take a long time. So apply this short trick, which I'm going to tell you. See, initial population was 9600 and final population is 10,272. So there is an increment of 672. Okay, so if we need to calculate the percentage increase in the population, so what we can do, like initially it was 9600 and later it became 10,272, that is 672, and initially it was 9600, right, in 200. So you will get 7%. So 7% is the net increase in the population, net population, right? So I'm just telling you a method which you can apply, and that is going to save your time. Like suppose this is males and females. So increase in males is 8% and increase in female is 5%. And here you write overall percentage. Overall percentage increase in population is 7%. So what you do, you subtract this 7 from 8 like this, and then subtract 7 and 5 and write answer here. So if you subtract 8 and 7, you will get 1. And if you subtract this 7 and 5, you will get 2. So in this way, you get the ratio of male and female as 2:1. So 2:1, okay. Now you have to calculate number of males before increase, right? Before it was 96, total population was like that. So number of males before increase was 2/3. Suppose 2 plus 1, total is 3, right? So number of males, that will be equal to total 3 and males are 2, so 2/2 of this 9600. Here we are multiplying it by 9600 because we have to calculate number of males before increase, means 2/3 of the total population which was before increase. That's why I am multiplying it by 9600, not by 10,272, correct? So my answer will be 6400. Okay, so you apply this short trick, that is going to save your answer. Okay, save your time. So you will get C as your answer. Okay. Next, the salaries of A and B together amount to 2000. A spends 95% of his salary while B spends 85% of his salary. If their savings are same, what is A's salary? Correct. Now see students, Salaries of A and B, total it is 2000. A spends 95%. That means he saves only 5%. And B spends 85%. That is 15% of his salary he saves, B saves. Correct. So we can say that 5% of A is equivalent to 15% of B. That is A, we get the ratio of A and B as 1:3. Okay. So I show you like this. 5, because he spent 95%, so 5% will be your savings. Correct. And B spends 85%. That is B saves 15% of his salary. So you get the ratio, if you cancel it out, you will get 3:1. Okay, the ratio will be 3:1. Okay, now you know the total sum of these their salaries is 2000. That is 3 plus 1 equal to 4. If you add these salary, both these, you will get 4, which is equivalent to 2000. Correct. Now you have to calculate A salary, that is 3. So this is nothing but 500. So 3 is equivalent to 1500. So my answer will be A. So in this way we'll get A's salary. Correct? Okay. My next question is, in a class of 55 students and 3 teachers, each student gets sweets that are 20% of total number of students, and each teacher got sweets that are 60% of total number of students. How many sweets are there? See, students, total students are 55 and teachers are 3. Each student gets sweets that are 20% of total number of students. Now 20% is nothing but 1/5 and 20% of total number of students, that is 55. So 20% of 55 you have to calculate, that is 11. Okay, because 1/5 of 55 is 11. So total students is 55, that is total sweets which are given to the student, that will be 55 into 11. Correct. And each teacher got sweets that are 60% of the total number of students. 20% is 1/5 of 55, that is 11, and 60% will be 3 times of that, that is 33. So total teachers are 3, so total number of sweets that are given to the teachers will be equal to 3 times of 33. So when you add both sweets which are given distributed to them, you will get the total sweets. Okay, I show you. Number of sweets that are 20% of the total number of 20% of total. These are the sweets which are given to the students. 20% of total. Correct. So 20% of this is 11, and total number of students are 55. So we multiplied by 55. You will get 605. Correct. Now total number of teachers are 3, and each teacher gets 60% of total students. 60% of total students. That is 3 times 33. So you will get 99. So if you add these numbers, you will get 704 as your answer. Okay. So in this way, you approach to this question. See, now question number 16. Question number 16 says, in a school, 28% of students are below 10 years of age. The number of students above 10 years of age is 3/5 of the number of students of 10 years of age. What is the total number of students who are below 10 years of age if the number of students above 10 years of age is 243? Try to understand this question. We have to calculate number of students who are below 10 years of age, and the data provided is number of students above 10 years of age. See, students, try to use this information. The number of students above 10 years of age is 3/5. The number of students above 10 years is 3/5 of the number of students of 10 years of age. So suppose total 8 students are there. If 8 students are there, then 3 students will be who are above 10 years of age, and 5 students will be who are of 10 years of age. Correct. So you can say, and it is given that number of students who are above 10 years of age is 243. That means 3 will be equivalent to 243. Right. Now if you add 3 and 5, that is 8. So that 8 is what? 8 is actually equal to number of students who are above 10 years of age and who are of 10 years of age. So this is multiple of 3, right? So you'll get 81. So 8 will be equivalent to 648. This 8 is what? This 3, it shows that who are above 10 years. Correct. And this 8, it shows students who are above 10 and who are actually of 10 years. Correct. So you will get 648. This 648 is what? This is 72% of the total students, because it is given that 28% of students are below 10 years. If 28% are below, then remaining is 72%, and 72% includes all those students who are above 10 years and who are of 10 years. Correct. That's why I'm calculating the value of 8. 8 is equivalent to 648, and now we can see that 72% is equivalent to 648. Correct. And we have to calculate this 28%. So 28%, you will get 252 as your answer. See, I'm again trying to explain you this question. It is given that number of students above 10 years of age is 243. Here it is, the question says number of students above 10 years of age is 3/5 of the number of students of 10 years of age. If we add this 3 and 5, we'll get total 8. Suppose there are 8 students, right? 3 will be above 10 years of age and 8 will be 10 who are of 10 years of age. Correct. So this 3 who are above 10 years of age is equivalent to this 243. That's why I've written 3 equivalent to 243. But we have to calculate total students who are above 10 and who are of 10 years. So that is equivalent to 8. So 8, what will be the value of 8? We'll get 648 as my answer. Question says 28% are below 10 years of age. And so if 28% are below 10, then 100 minus 28, that is 72%. 72% will be equivalent to these students who are above 10 and who are of 10, right? So 72% will be equal to 648. So you have to calculate below 10 and their percent is 28%. So 28% you can easily calculate out as 252. So 252 will be my answer. Okay. See. Next question says, question number 17. The length of a rectangle is increased by 10%. What will be the percentage decrease in its breadth so as to have a constant area? The length has been increased by 10%. So the first method, which is, you can apply, this question actually is about successive percentage. Now you see, the area is constant, means length has been increased by 10% and area is constant. So definitely breadth will be decreased, na? Like area is nothing but L into B. This is constant. We are increasing length, so definitely breadth will be decreased. If we are increasing length by 10%, so there will be some change, decrease in B. The conventional method, like you can do it in this way, like you apply this method, A plus B plus AB by 100. So see, length has been increased by 10%, so positive 10. B will be the change in breadth, but as this change is decreasing, so we'll denote it by minus, correct? Minus M, and then plus AB into 100. Now A is increment, B is decrement, so this is positive, this is negative. So if we multiply plus and by minus, we'll get minus as a result. So minus 10M divided by 100 equal to 0. Why 0? Because the net change is 0. Because the area is constant, right? Area is constant, so definitely there is no change in area. That's why the change is 0. This shows, this denotes the 0 change in area. Okay, so if you solve this, you will get 110M equal to 10. So here, from here you will get 9, 1 by 11, that is 9.09% as your answer. So A will be my answer. Okay. Now see, the general approach is we are increasing length by 10%, correct? So that means 10% increment, that is length will becomes 11 by 10 times L, correct? I hope this is clear how this became 11 by 10, because 10% of L, that is 1 by 10, so 1 plus 1 by 10 becomes 11 by 10 L, okay? Now area is constant, length has become 11 by 10 times, so to make it constant, we have to multiply it by 10 by 11, this breadth. We'll multiply, if we multiply this breadth by 10 by 11, that means this 11 cancel out, 10 cancel out. So again, we'll get L into B as area. So my area is constant. It has not been changed. This, note this, okay? That means we have decreased breadth. This shows that we have multiplied by 10 by 11, that breadth has been decreased. By how much factor? It has been decreased by 1 by 11, correct? Because 1 minus 10 by 11, that is, the factor is 1 by 11, which is the changes in terms of percentage. You will get 9.09 as percent. Okay, I think now the concept is clear to you, how this generally approach. So if you know the value of this 1 by 11 in terms of percentage, so you can easily directly write it out 9.09 as percentage. So A will be my answer. Okay. Now see, next question. Number of seats in an auditorium is increased by 25%. Okay. The price on a ticket is also increased by 12%. What is the effect on the revenue collected? See, now revenue is what? Revenue is number of seats multiplied by price, right? So, see, revenue is what? Number of seats multiplied by price. Now net change is 25%, that is increase, and 12% change in the price of the ticket, that is also an increase. So if you apply the formula of that successive percentage, you can easily calculate it out, like plus 25 plus 12, then 25 multiplied by 12 upon 100, then you will get 3 here. So my answer will be 40%. So B will be my answer. So see, students, that successive percentage formula, that is going to help save your time, and you don't need to, first of all, you take revenue as X, and then you number of seats, you increase it by 25% of X, and then you increase the ticket and then multiply the result. So don't do it in that way. Just use that formula, A plus B plus AB by 100, and you will get the desired result. Okay. See, next question. The price of sugar is increased by 20%. As a result, a family decreases its consumption by 25%. The expenditure of the family on sugar will be decreased by. This question is again on successive percentage. See, price is again increased by 20%. As a result, family decreases its consumption by 25%. Now, what will be the change in expenditure? So, see, price has been increased, so plus 20. Consumption has been decreased, that is 25 minus 20. Minus shows decrease. Okay, so plus minus minus, then 20 multiplied by 25, 100. That will get 5, and so net change will be 10. Minus sign shows that there is a decrease. That means the expenditure now has been decreased. That shows negative, shows that there is a decrease. So my answer is C, 10% decrease, right? Has it been plus here? So that means expenditure has been increased. Okay. Yes. Now see question number 20. In an election involving two candidates, 68 votes were declared invalid. The winning candidate scored 52% and won by 98 votes. The total number of votes casted were. See, total, whatever be the total number of votes, 68 votes were declared invalid. Suppose 100, I have 100 votes, correct? 100% votes, 68 were declared invalid. So remaining votes will be 100% minus 68. The winning candidate scored 52%, 52% of the total, correct? And he won by 98 votes. That means the other candidate who have lost, that would have got 48%. But here the winning candidate, he has won by 98 votes. That means 52% minus 48%, that is equivalent to 98. Okay. So that is 4% is equivalent to 28, correct? So you have to calculate total number of votes casted were. Initially it was 100%. So you have to calculate the 100% value. This is what multiplied by 25, right? So you multiply the 98 by 25, you will get 2450 as your answer. Okay. See, next question. In a college election fought between two candidates, one candidate got 55% of the total valid votes, 15% of the votes were invalid. If the total votes were 15,200, what is the number of valid votes the other candidate got? See, now one candidate got 55% of the total valid votes, right? Total. And 15% of the votes were invalid. Suppose students, there are 100% votes, right? Now see, 15% of the votes were invalid. So remaining will be 85%, correct? Now one candidate got 55% of the total valid votes, right? He got 55% of the total valid votes. He got 55%, right? Of the total value, that is 55 only. If the total votes were 15,200, so what is the number of valid votes the other candidate got? If he is getting 55%, then definitely the other candidate will be getting 45%, right? 45% the other candidate would have got, because first candidate is getting 55% of the total valid votes. And already you know 55% of the votes were invalid, that is remaining valid votes are only 85%, right? So other candidate must have got 45% of 85% of the total valid votes. Total valid votes is 15200. So this is my answer. Because why? Yes, 7106 will be my answer. But why we are multiplying this by 85%? I'm just trying to tell you that 15% of the votes were invalid. So remaining 85% are valid votes, and other candidate has got 45%. So we'll calculate 45% of 85%. 85% and 85% of total votes. Okay. Because 85% of the total votes are valid, and out of this 45% has the other candidate has got. So in this way we'll calculate my answer, and A will be my answer. Okay. So I think this is more than enough for you to get an idea about percentage. We have solved many questions on percentage, and definitely in second session we'll try to I'll explain you with some more tricks, and you will be able to solve these questions in few seconds. And I suggest you to enroll for the students, and I give you my word that definitely you will be able to crack it SSC pre, and definitely yes, you can get PPT, but the point is that if you enroll this registered for this program, then the important thing which you are going to get is you will be able to you will get speed and accuracy, because that is the most important thing which is required in this exam. For the beginners, I'll provide you the conventional way, and for those who are who have already have idea about this exam, I'll provide you the short tricks, how you can solve all the questions in just few seconds, right? So yes, this package includes all sections, all reasoning, general awareness, and quant and general quantitative aptitude, and I'll provide. This will include total 61 sessions. No, this program is actually about tier 1 only. First of all, we'll prepare you, make you prepare for tier 1, and then we'll also provide product for tier 2 and then for tier 3. Okay. Yes, last year tier 3 was added, and it is all about essay writing, application writing, letter writing. So yes, total fee will be like, I show you the program once again so that you will get clear idea about it, right? See, the first program, it includes only online classes. Total 61 live sessions will be there. You will be provided ebooks for that, but there will be no mock test and speed test. And the offer price from our from our end, it is 7,500. Actual price is 10,000, but we are offering you discount, and that is 7,500. But in this offer, this second part, we are providing you online classes plus test series, right? Here also 61 live sessions will be there, but here you will be, you will have 40 mock tests and speed tests. Test gyms are there so that you can practice sectional wise also, and you can practice whole test. Like if after attending one session, you can, you will be able to access those speed tests, and you can judge it out that at what position you are right now. So okay, so this is the price of this particular part is 13,000, but we are providing you discount, and this is of 9,000 rupees only, and you will be able to access the second session only once you enrolled. Okay, so after enrolling for this product only, you will be able to access the second session of quant and all. So from next week onwards, we are starting our product, and I just give you my word that is, you will be entertained also, and you will get full package, and of course all tricks will be covered. Okay. SSC tier, I just want to tell you that SSC tier, the level of questions in SSC tier is not very high. But the thing is, again, I'm telling you, the speed and accuracy matters in this exam. Because if you compare this with the banking exam, in banking exam, the level of question is higher than that of SSC. Reasoning, if you compare reasoning questions in SSC, that is very, very easy. But doing, that doesn't matter that if you do attempt all questions in 45 minutes, that is not going to be, means I'm just trying to say that if you do, like, total 25 questions are there. Earlier it used to be 50 last to last year. So doing 50 questions in 45 minutes, that is not worth. I'm just telling you here, speed as well as accuracy matters. Doing questions, attempting questions in a limited time, in just few seconds, that is the main point for this particular exam. No, if you like, I'm here in quant as well as in section, we'll provide you concepts. Like I told you that this product is for beginners and for both who have command over this, who have idea about banking exams and all. So we'll provide you concepts and the basic details. We'll covered whole, the topics and all, and the last year questions, like I told you, questions are repeated in SSC and all. So you are able, to get command over the topics. And I like to tell you that the topics which are covered in SSC, those same topics for quant and English, particularly saying that those topics are also, covered in, you are prepared for banking also, right? No, only mock tests are like if you want to grab this package, you have to take online classes as well as mock tests, not only mock tests. Okay, so this much is all about. So I think you'll like this product. Okay. Okay, students, I'm just providing you feedback forms, so you can provide your feedback. Okay. Total, yes, total sessions will be there, and that will include all subjects, quant, English, reasoning, general awareness, and for a particular subject also, you can, access all the sessions and all tests, topic-wise also, and whole test. Okay. Okay. Okay, then thank you. Bye-bye. Okay. Have a nice day.